Yeah, so what's remarkable about wholesaling is that off-market deals only make up about 4% of all real estate transactions on an annual basis. And despite being only 4% of all real estate transactions, there's wholesalers out there that are making millions of dollars a year by focusing on one skill set. That's generating and converting seller leads. And a lot of them are starting to figure out that they have a skill set that they could also monetize in other ways if they had a real estate license. And I think this is one of the biggest opportunities out there in real estate today. And in this video, I'm going to break down to you why that is and how they're doing it. I'm Phil Duke Jr. I'm a licensed real estate broker with eXp Realty. I'm in a small town of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. If you don't know where that is, you've probably heard of the University of Alabama. I got University of Alabama stuff all in my office. Roll Tide. And, I think this is a massive opportunity. I'm excited to share this with you. Number one, we know that 96% of all real estate transactions are with a real estate agent, right? Even the for sale by owners, most of them are wanting a buyer agent to bring a buyer, and they'll, that licensed agent will write up the offer. They'll do the contract for both sides. They'll get it to closing, and that for sale by owner pays a 3% commission instead of 6%, right? So we don't consider those off market. Those still were sold by and with a real estate agent. And so, despite all of this, wholesalers continue to crush it. They're going after a very small segment of the market. The vast majority of sellers want top dollar, or they want a lot closer to top dollar than what a wholesaler or a flipper or a landlord is going to be able to get them. And yet, despite this, after going after a very small segment of the market, there's certainly money to be made for going after and catering to that demographic. And number two, the reason why I think wholesalers win is because they're laser focused on who their target audience is and who they're not, right? They're not trying to be all things to all people. We see people, I've been coaching real estate agents since about 2015, and I see a lot of real estate agents struggle with like identifying who is their target audience. One day it's first time home buyers, the next day it's veterans who have a VA loan, the next day it's an investor, the next day it's a seller. They try to be all things to all people. And I think what helps wholesalers continue to win over and over and over is they're just laser focused on who they can help and who they can't, right? They know. I mean, for me, when I was doing wholesaling, and I still do a little bit today, the example I always gave people was like a car lot. If I wanted to go buy a new vehicle today, I could trade my existing vehicle in. I probably wouldn't make, top of the market money on the trade value on that vehicle, but I could get it over with today versus having to get it detailed myself, having to show it to people and let people test drive it, negotiating back and forth. I can literally go to the dealership today, tell them which new vehicle I want, negotiate a little bit on the trade value of my current vehicle, and I'm done in a day, done in a couple hours. And that's kind of the way I see wholesaling. There's people who are looking for that. If that's what you're looking for, then as a wholesaler or as an investor, you can win with that. But to me, the real asset that I see, number three, is that wholesalers know how to generate seller leads, and in fact, they're way better at it than most realtors. And what I mean by that is like realtors. Again, I've been coaching and training, licensed realtors since 2015. Many of them are trying to be social media influencers. They're creating, social media content, TikTok videos, sending out mailers. Some of them are trying to be the local expert and letting people know about the new businesses open in the area. It's confusing at best if you are the public and you're seeing these realtors Facebook posts. It's hard to figure out like which one is different, which one is better. And that's ultimately what most real estate agents are trying to do is like, look at me, I'm better. I just listed this house. I just got this house under contract. I just sold this house. I just got a 5-star review, and I made a Canva image of the 5-star review, so that you could see it without having to go to my Google, review site or whatever. Wholesalers and investors, they don't operate that way. They know exactly what they need to do day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out to generate the number of appointments, the number of offers, the number of accepted contracts, and the number of contracts that actually get monetized, right? So most of the people I know that are in the wholesaling or investing world, they have lead generation businesses. That's really the business that they're in. They know exactly how many mailers they need to send out. They know how many numbers they need to pull from PropStream for their cold caller to call. They know how much they need to spend in Google pay-per-click. And so they know exactly what they need to do week in and week out to get the result that they want. Most licensed realtors don't operate that way. They don't really know what's working for them and what's not. They're busy and they're trying a bunch of things, and it's like the shotgun approach, right? They're trying to try a bunch of different things at one time to see what will fit. People on the wholesaling and investor side of things, they are way more dialed in than that, and that's, to me, where the big opportunity is in all of this. I mentioned before, most sellers want top dollar or as close to top dollar as they can get, and they're not wanting the quick, guaranteed certainty that a wholesaler or a cash investor could bring. And so that's where I think there's a massive opportunity. And so what I'm seeing is a lot of a lot of unlicensed wholesalers getting their real estate license. So now they can still go the same lead generation plan they're currently doing, the same sellers, the same appointments, the same phone calls, the same conversations that they're already having. When they have a real estate license, now they can monetize so many more of those, right? The vast majority of the homeowners out there don't want a discounted offer that can close in 10 days. They want to make as much money as they can so they can pay off some debt or they can pay for their next house, right? So, having a real estate license allows you to make that pivot from, hey, here's where I would be at on a cash offer standpoint, and if that's what you want, that's what I can do. But Mr. Seller, it sounds like maybe that's not the best option. So why don't we just put your house on the open market and let's give it, 30 days and let's see what we can get on the open market. If we can get you a good offer that way, then great. I'll handle all the marketing, the showings. I'll go through the offers with you, break down the math for you, and give you recommendations on what I would do if I was you. And if it doesn't go that way, if we don't have success that way, you can always fall back on these cash offers. And in fact, that's the exact play that I run every single day. I'm actually not the one giving the offers. I have a portal. We have a portal that I use where we can enter properties, put in the address, put in the photos, put in some information about the property, and within 24 to 48 hours, we have big institutional investors like hedge funds and real estate investment trust, and people buying hundreds of houses a month, giving us offers inside that portal that now we can go present those offers to the seller, so that they really feel like we're more on their side, right? I mentioned the car lot example earlier. If you ever gone and bought a vehicle, most dealerships that I've seen, kind of run the sales manager is the bad guy kind of sales approach, right? The sales rep that you're sitting there talking to, he gives you an initial offer and it's a lowball offer and you tell them no, and they go back to the back and they probably play on their phone for a minute, then they come back in and they say, well, I talked to my manager and my manager said we can do this. They do that because they don't want you to feel like you're negotiating directly against them. They want you to feel like this manager in the back somewhere is really the bad guy who's giving the bad news, and they're just kind of the messenger of the offers. And so that's a play that's working for me. But I'm not pretending that there's a manager somewhere. I'm not pretending I have an underwriting department down the hallway like a lot of wholesalers unfortunately do. I'm getting real offers from real investors, and when I have the conversation with the seller, it's here's what offer one looks like, here's what offer two looks like, here's what offer three looks like. If you would like to see that portal in action and learn more about that approach, how you can be generating cash offers from other people. You're not having to calculate the ARV. You're not having to calculate what the rehab costs are going to be. You literally put the property into the system. You wait a day or two, and then you've got usually multiple offers to present to a seller, and they will pay you a commission if you have a real estate license. It's normally a very good commission, but the vast majority of time, the people still say no to those offers because they are a little bit discounted. And so, hey, no problem. Hey, if I was you, I probably wouldn't take this offer either without at least trying. So why don't we just put your house on the open market and see what we can get there? Let's see if we can beat these offers. If we can't, we've always got these cash offers as backups. If you would like to see that in action, there's a link below. I've recorded a little short masterclass to show you how that thing works and how I'm using it day in and day out. And if you already have experience as a wholesaler, you're already talking to sellers, you're already generating those kind of leads on a consistent basis, that one system could be a game changer for your business. And so, number 5, that's kind of my plan today. I still wholesale some, but I list the rest, right? There are situations that I come into on a very regular basis where they don't need to put it on the market. They need quick, they need guaranteed. They've already missed 6 payments on their mortgage. They're already getting letters in the mail. They need to get this thing closed out by the end of the month before the next mortgage payment is due. And so you can still wholesale with a license, right? There's some real estate companies that allow that, some that don't. Fortunately, I'm lucky to be at one that does. And so I've been able to lean into this a little bit harder as I'm looking for distressed sellers. I'm looking for sellers that want to sell. I'm going to start off with the cash offer. We're going to see if that makes sense. We're going to explore all those options. And more than likely, the conversation is going to pivot to, let's just put this thing on the market. We'll get you more money. We can probably still get you, a pretty quick closing, and I'll just make a couple percent as a listing agent. It's not a bad gig to do that. And as a wholesaler, you're going after the 4% of the market that a lot of them are distressed, and that's why they're in that bucket. The vast majority of sellers want a lot more money than that, and you, with a license, can cater to both. It doesn't have to be one size fits all. You can help the people that want cash and want quick. You can help the people that want the most amount of money. They're willing to wait a little bit of time, and there's still very, very little risk to you because you're probably paying for professional photography, maybe putting up a sign in the yard. Other than that, you have some time invested in the transaction, and that's about it. So this is a huge opportunity. I think people that are already in the wholesaling space who decide to get their license are at a massive, massive advantage. And if that's something you're interested in exploring more, check out the masterclass that I've got recorded below. Thanks for checking out today's video.